Here we go. So
All
we're
right,
in.
yay, we're on.
Gabrielle,
Yes.
nice to meet you at the Edinburgh
Me
Fringe.
too, thank you.
So we're here. Unfortunately, I just missed your show, but I'd love to hear all about it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we're halfway through our run. We have till the 11th, and it's definitely been a journey, to say the least.
So the show, the Inspirational Porn Star. Yeah, I wanted to make sure I was getting that right.
Yeah, it's a long title.
So tell me, what is the show about?
So the show is about me, my life, Gabrielle Leonore, as said, inspirational porn star.
Okay.
And it's true stories of sex, drugs, and everything else they don't tell you about being an autistic bisexual woman.
Okay. So is this a true story?
It's a mix of autobiographical as well as theatrical. It kind of blends a lot of different elements. I almost don't know where it kind of begins or ends because I started the show as Gabrielle Leonore as its own character, and then it's like, ooh, that's actually a great stage name for me, and so then I adopted it as myself.
Okay.
And I'm still like in my stage makeup, obviously, so it's like, oh, when does it end? But it's a mix of true stories, and I take the very classic archetype of like old Hollywood, like very much a la Britney Spears' Lucky music video, like, oh, she's this gorgeous actress, but oh, she's so sad. And I tell my stories if I'm a washed up child actress, because especially with autism, a lot of people focus it on the children and, oh, finding a cure, but then once we grow up, it's like, oh, can you get over it? Like, oh, nobody really cares anymore. Like,
Is that your personal experience?
Yes, absolutely. Like when I talk about my show where my peak, so to speak, was being the genie in Aladdin Jr. and I had all this attention, like, wow, I'm a star, and everyone thinks I'm so precocious and cute. Like, oh, everyone loved me. Hopefully I didn't hit the mic too hard. It's like everyone loved me because I was so cute, and even in elementary school, I kind of had an ego where I didn't realize the special treatment I had was because I was disabled. I just thought I was the shit, for lack of a better word. I was like, oh, these teachers are obsessed with me because obviously they're not like, no, it's like, oh, I had an aid because I'm just cool. It's like, no, you are just special. Like, I was a different kind of special than what I thought. And then come middle school was when, as a kid, everyone's just trying to have fun. Like you're not thinking about responsibilities or where you are in the world, fortunately. But middle school is when, it's like, oh, you have to be cool. Oh, these social norms. Ooh, and so
got to try and fit into this group of people that you're just thrown into. You've got no choice of the community involved.
And then even too, like, I have a story about like this guy I had a crush on. It's very awkward flirting attempts on both of our ends, so to speak. No pun intended. And just even going through the awkward things of that, and then once so my childhood was very much like trying to fit into what I thought people wanted of me or expected of me, but then also was like just never felt quite aligned. And on the other facet of the show too is even as an adult, like when I would tell people I'm autistic, they're like, wow, like the fact that you're even talking or even being in Edinburgh, wow. Like all of that stuff is like such a miracle. Or, oh, the fact that you even graduated college, high school, it's like, well, I feel like I'm more than this. Like I've always had higher ambitions. And I also didn't want to be put in the box of like, oh, but like your story like makes me feel better. Like look at you over doing all of these things. And it's like, no, I feel like I'm more interesting than that.
I want to be careful how I tread on this.
No, absolutely.
But so because I'm not qualified to talk about autism, but is it a problem that if it's a label that you're given, that like you say, put into a box, that you're defined by that condition?
For sure. No, that's a very good question. And funny enough, I've had a couple like dads of daughters of neurodiverse people, not even neurodiverse, but yes, neurodiverse, but also parents of disabled their children, but they're grown adults. And the father of not the last show but the previous asked me that same question, where it's like, do you feel like the label hinders you? And for a long time before I came out as autistic, it did, because there was so much stigma attached. And back to the whole, like, people would expect a certain type of autism, but when you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism, as they say.
And there's a spectrum, I guess.
Absolutely,
as well, yeah. So it's not like everyone is this type of autistic.
No, absolutely. The best way to describe it is like an audio engineer soundboard, and they got all the dials.
Right.
So some of mine are like, oh, she's very hyperverbal, but like, ooh, our short-term memory is garbage, so there's a mix and match kind of thing, and everyone's different. But then to go back to what you said, the label itself, it's less of a it's all about perspective. So for me, it's less, I can't hit the mic. To me, it's less of a hindrance now, but more of an explanation. So, and my friend Mitch and I, we've even had discussions of how our neurodivergence clash. So it gives me an answer to why, oh, maybe people don't like how I come off direct or a certain way versus not. Oh, maybe that's the reason some of these have been very difficult for me.
Okay.
Whereas other people, I've had experiences where I even had a psychiatrist who, I literally just wanted Adderall. That's all I was there for. But instead he was like, oh, there's no way you could ever be an actor because you're autistic. It's joke's on him. This is the role of a lifetime right now. My day-to-day life, which I do joke about in the show too. Not that specific instance, but that concept. So it really is just a matter of perspective. And that's like with anything. You could say the same thing about skin color versus not, or it's just any difference. But I prefer to see the positivity in it and what I have accomplished. And I even told that parent, it's well, if I didn't have my autism, I would not have been able to create this work. So it's something that makes me special, and I'm proud of it.
So you started at the beginning of this conversation about saying about being special, that you felt like when you were younger that you were special in some way, but then this kind of challenged that.
Yeah, because it turned into, it was like a double, two sides of the same coin, so to speak, where, when you're a kid, I guess you just think the best because it's oh, as long as mom and dad love me, everything's good. And, some children don't even have that luxury, but I come from a lot of privilege in the sense that, I got my diagnosis extremely young, at 2 years old. And that is a statistical anomaly with everything that I am, because most women don't even get diagnosed until later in life because of masking, because they're so focused on, I need to present myself in a way that doesn't upset people, don't want to, whereas men, they can get away with being bossy and whatever. It's he just loves trains and he's just passionate about trains. But, God forbid a girl's obsessed with, horses. And it's okay, she's, not that horses are the defining characteristic.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. It's like that. So someone, a friend of mine that is autistic. Yeah. And he discovered that in later life through doing lots of different tests and seeing different psychiatrists. And he said to me that he thinks that I'm ADHD.
ADHD. That's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, he's like, that you're just like, look. He keeps saying to me, just look into it because that's you.
And that's funny too, because we tend to find each other. I think I was actually joking with the last act before my show. I don't know how autism kind of came up. I think because I was just talking about something. It came up in the conversation, and he's like, I got a test, but I missed 2 markers or something. And I was like, well, here's an actual test. If you think I'm really cool, then you're probably autistic. And he's like, that's a leading question. I'm like, no, it's a serious question. This helps, because in 6 months, assuming if you think I'm cool now, it's okay, wait 6 months. If you still think I'm cool, oh yeah, it's bad. And then if you fall in love with me, yeah, that's pretty. you're in there. But we find each other, and then the ADHD thing is very funny too, because I actually do technically have an ADHD diagnosis. I didn't find out about that till I was 7. Oh no, I got it at 7. I didn't find out about that until my late 20s. And I even asked my mom, I was like, Mom, why didn't you tell me I had ADHD? Because I would use that as a cover. I'm like, I can't tell people I'm autistic. I'll say I'm ADHD. Okay. Because everyone thinks they have it. I make that joke in the show. It's I'm not autistic, I have ADHD. Everyone thinks I have ADHD.
Well, we're living in a time where it seems to be that people want to embrace that. Yeah. That people are looking for some kind of, I think, understanding of who they are and the way that their mind works. Right. And I've seen it a lot. I went to an award ceremony recently where the person got up and said, by the way, I have ADHD. Right. And it was everyone else was like, I do too. And everyone in the room just basically put their hand up. And so we're in a moment, I think, where everyone's really questioning, why does my brain work like this? Why do I think like this? And I wonder if it's quite unique to creatives, hence this thing that you say about finding each other. We're in this space here at Edinburgh Fringe where we're meeting a lot of like-minded people. Oh, for sure. And this is also a neurotypical nightmare at Edinburgh Fringe. Because it's and it's funny because there's definitely been a learning curve for me. The first few days I
the autistic side of me was losing my mind, absolutely. And then now I'm like, okay, this is how it works, like trying to find the structure, and then now embracing, I guess, my more ADHD side, like my more spontaneous side. You know, we're having an interview literally.
Yeah, we're just doing this on the fly and just making it.
Which makes it more fun that way. But yeah, there's no way anyone would do this if they were, no normal person would want to do this.
No, it takes a kind of a certain type of person to come to something like this and throw yourself into it. Have you any idea as to why you're doing it?
You know, I kind of explore that in the show where, so pretty much one of the biggest epiphanies I had through this process is, so the concept of inspirational porn, the formula, is, so it's a term coined by late activist Stella Young, who coins the term as a media that portrays disabled people as poor innocent angels that need to be protected from this cruel dark world, and then somebody comes in and not disabled saves them from their own suffering, like a football player. It's always a football player for some reason. Like, oh, I'm gonna eat with this like poor autistic boy, with he's by himself, I'm gonna eat lunch with him. Or oh, the girl on Survivor is just bawling her eyes out, and everyone's like, oh my god. You know, I mean, no shade, no tea to that. Or Love on the Spectrum especially is like great inspirational porn fodder. And where was I going with this? You know, so that's the formula of inspirational porn. And so what I've realized in the writing of this, like in the context of my love life, like I was dealing with a relationship that was very one-sided, you know, and like always feeling like, oh, why can't I be chosen? Why can't I be the one that they want? And then I had this like aha moment of, oh my God, I want this person to be my hero and save me from my own suffering, because who else would go so out of their way for them?
Wow. And this and you had this moment through writing.
Through writing it, through rehearsing it, through I remember like I had this like thought of like, oh, you know, why wouldn't like somebody choose me, or you know, because, but then again it's like, who would choose me, because I am so difficult, I am too much, I am and then I realized, wait, this is not good. It's like, this is not healthy. And then I realized it's not even like, because I was talking about it from like the macro level so much, and then this is what society put on me, and it was like, oh my gosh, look how much I've internalized it.
So do you think you would have been able to find an answer without theatre and without writing? Do you think it like, is it as simple as saying that theatre and writing helps? It could, you know, because you don't know, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect catharsis, absolutely. Like theatre is catharsis, and one of the reasons why I love theatre so much is it did provide me that structure. Like I say in my show, like, you know when you're on, you're off. There's a set routine you rehearse for months on end. Everyone follows the same script. And unfortunately, life does not work like that. And then theater also tells you how to behave. It teaches you how to act. It teaches you, oh, you're not portraying the emotions the right way where audiences can understand. And then it's also like, so for me, it's like, okay, how do I get all of these things inside me out? And then, so theater is like the external version of it, and then in a way, I guess, also contributed to my mask of like, oh, I know how to present myself. Oh, I know how to carry my voice. Bazzle dazzle. And writing was the more internal process of, these are my actual thoughts as I spit them out and try to, and with writing, I feel like I have a little bit more freedom with it, because it's all, you know, I can just sit in a coffee shop and whatever, and then with theater, it's like, okay, I still have to deal with people, kind of, sort of, unless it's a one-woman show. I do say like that show took a while because I'm difficult to work with.
So why did you start this then? Was there any knowing that this would be a benefit to you personally at the beginning?
I don't think as much as I thought. I think it started as like a joke in a weird way. Right. So the first time I ever heard inspirational porn was on a podcast called Spectrumly Speaking, and then that was my light bulb moment of like, oh, this is why I hated when, you know, people would say, hey, Gabby, like, your stuff is great, but have you tried telling people you're autistic? Then people will actually care. I'm like, well, I want to be more known for more than just my autism, you know? It should be like an afterthought. Although ironically, it's like the first thing I see. Now I'm exploiting myself, so it's fine. So that, you know, and so, but when I was hearing it, like especially the porn part, I thought was very funny, and then I was like, yeah, let's really lay it on thick. And so I did have, initially it started out as like I'm creating a different character, and they were even a totally different name entirely. I decided to do like the porn star name where it's like, oh, first pet in the street. So Ginger Court, that's how it initially started. So that draft was very melodramatic and like, oh, the world. And then it was a very on and off process, but then I had a voice, like this was back in 2019, so this script took like 6 years. And I had a voice say that I didn't have enough like experience for it. I was 25 at the time, and I was like, oh, you need more life experience. And I'm like, well, that's a really stupid thing for my intuition to tell me when I have to put on the show in like 6 months.
So when you say the voice, are you talking about something internal?
Yeah, like my intuition. Like while I was writing it, I had that voice, and this was when I got accepted into the Tampa Fringe, like in 2020. We know what happened in 2020. And so I guess in a weird way, like I needed that time, because those few years I lived by myself, like no roommates, no family, no boyfriend.
Everything taken away from it.
Everything taken away, and I was in the apartment by myself, and that was where I truly unmasked and really got to be like, oh, this is who I am. This is actually what I like doing when no one's watching. Oh, this is what I do in my privacy in my own home kind of thing, or oh, this is where I want to explore things. So it was a very important time in my life, and as lonely as it was very well worth it.
I feel like there was a benefit in that moment. I often refer to it as the pause moment. That it was a moment for us to all stop, because life every day just keeps moving forward and keeps going round and round. But at that moment we were forced to stop. We were forced to pause. And I think for some of us, it did something, and actually there was some benefit there.
Yeah, I mean, as traumatic as it was when because I broke up with like my long-term boyfriend at the time of like 6 years, pretty much spent nearly my whole 20s with, and really just got to be like, who the heck am I without all this external stuff, without the pressure of going out? Like, it's like, oh, I'm a hero for staying home? Like,
yes,
you got it. And then after a while, I'm like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. So I go through periods of like hermit mode, and then also like, no, we're gonna party, and it's like only like once a month, I'll be honest, if at all. So who knows? I'll be after this Edinburgh for sure.
So how are you finding the Edinburgh Fringe works for you then? This actual festival, and the way you've said that it's come in like different bits for you, and you've learned a lot. So what have you actually learned?
I've learned exactly who I am in this, and for a long time, like coming from Tampa, like it's a great city, and I love like my Tampa Fringe, like they're like my incubator, and there's really great work there too. But here, I think I realize how important it is to not just stick out in like the flashy sense, but realize like, oh, how specific are you to stand out? Because I've had people even tell me before, like, oh, you don't have autism in the title, so how would people know? And I'm like, well, that's kind of the point of the show, is to get people in this, because the Inspirational Porn title works really well in the US, because the US and sex is a whole thing.
Yeah, it is here as well.
Yeah.
And I guess that's going to draw people in for one thing, but you can show them something else.
That was my idea with it, but it's funny that I've had a couple people say like, oh, but you don't put autism in the title, so how would people know? But then it kind of goes back to the whole like, that goes against, you still want me to be that inspirational porn star, because it's like that cognitive dissonance of like, I did a whole show about it, and then they still don't get it.
So what is it you want for them from your audience? Do you want your audience to come in with a certain understanding and leave with something different?
That would be nice. I mean, I want people to feel like they can come as they are, and I can be myself, and that I've said what I needed to say. And because I'm really, I mean, as cliche as it sounds, I'm speaking my truth about this. And not many people can handle the truth. And it's not as, unfortunately my show doesn't necessarily have like a happy ending, but it's an honest ending. And there is like a power to like, this is who I am in spite of it all, and I'm just gonna keep going anyway, and then I still like make a joke about it at the end of the day. So
if you're writing a show that's about yourself and your own experiences, I wonder even how it can have an ending. How there can be a because with a show there is a definitive end to this and conclusion, but we're here in this moment, and
that's a good
life
point.
is continuing, isn't it?
It is, and In a way, I think the way I wrote my ending too, it gives a little, because I had a reviewer, like from the Fringe Review back in Tampa, like initially I had a much, not like even darker ending, but I ended it on a much sadder note, because at the time I was going through this like, the best way I could describe it was a prison breakup.
Okay.
The guy wasn't in prison, but he was deployed in the Middle East, and it was a very one-sided like texting thing, and then that didn't work out, and so I was seeing my show through that lens, and then lately I've zoomed out of that and realized, oh, it's not about this specific person. It's about what this whole society is imposing on me as a whole. And so it made it, like, it's still personal, but it's also, lately my ending's been like, yeah, this is it. Okay, you feeling inspired yet? Great. And then that's how I end it. Like, that's the last line of the show.
And it does really sound like you found yourself here. And I think you said it yourself that you have.
Thank you.
What does that feel like?
It feels peaceful. And, you know, I think, like, one of the biggest takeaways I've had here is, so one of my first nights, I had a family from Washington State come to see my show, and the daughter, who, very sweet, I found out after the show, this is like literally, they were my first like actual, oh, people are actually coming to the show, like they were my first like real audience. And after the show was done, they told me how like they were autistic, they were, you know, going into college, like this was like their summer, like before starting college, so like the perfect demographic, basically.
Yes, yeah.
And she told me, or her mother, both of them were telling me how they looked through the entire Fringe program, like that giant phone book, found my show, circled it, and was like, we have to see this show. And then the parents are like, Inspirational Porn. She's like, I don't care, this is it. And the fact that because I had the strength and the power and the courage to be myself. Oh, I'm not going to cry.
You can cry. It's important. It's a big thing. It's a big moment in your life.
For sure. And the fact that like somebody on the completely opposite end of the country for me, like Florida's here, Washington's here. Like no idea that this person even existed. And she like saw my show and was like, I have to see that. And she even was like, I was rushing here, I didn't want to miss it, like, you know, like that thing, and even just like little things she said, she's like, you're wearing theater shoes, I have those same shoes, you know, like, she was able to see herself in my show, and, you know, I didn't have that growing up. Like, I really was like, you know, because even like some people were like, oh, how do you feel about the label? And it's like, I was terrified of it for like years. And to be able to have the courage now to say like, yeah, this is who I am, like, putting myself out there. There's somebody that chose me specifically, and I didn't even know they existed. And it was like, you know, she cried, I cried, her mom cried. It was a whole.
I can see how much this means to you. Like, you know.
Yeah, and she's been like, even no matter what's been happening the rest of the run, it's like I think of her, and I'm like, and that's why I want to do it, because I want to be that big sister that I didn't. To be fair, I was the big sister in my family. I'm the oldest, but. The big sister I didn't have, and that, even if, I mean, please still come if you can, but if no one else comes, it's like I still have that moment, and I really treasure it. And so feeling like I can be myself, and then seeing that give the courage for others to be themselves that's, lack of a better word, very inspiring.
So what's the hopes and dreams for you past this show? It sounds like you've given a lot to others.
Thank you.
But what about yourself?
Oh, that's a great question. So my hopes and dreams for the show, of course I want to keep touring with it. Like Edinburgh, I imagine as, I mean, this is a bit of a self-deprecating joke for myself, but you know, I know I'm not the biggest show in Edinburgh, so if it goes a little bit under the radar, then so be it. But I'm trying
There's a lot of competition here.
There's a lot of competition.
You've got 3,000 to 5,000 shows.
Oh, I mean,
so like.
It'd be very delusional of me to be like, what do you mean no one wants to, you know, but I'm saying like, I'm treating it like I don't even know, it's a terrible joke, but I'm like, oh, you know, C's get degrees. It's like, I still got it, Edinburgh, I'm still here.
This is an amazing thing.
You know, so even like in the future, it's like, nobody can take that away from me, and then I can continue touring and other places. I want to make this show into like a memoir, and like, because I had to cut a lot of stuff from the script just to make it like, within like an hour mark. So I want to make it into a memoir so that can live on. just share it with as much people as possible, and then find a producer that will make this less expensive, and just trying to get the word out, and then also just meeting people like you and everyone here has been just a dream.
Yeah, like this is special. This is an important moment, and this is the kind of stuff that draws me to the Fringe as well.
Yeah.
The connecting with people. It's hard to get that in life. So when you can find a place to do that, and you can do that through the thing that you work on, the thing that you care about, it's important, isn't it?
No, it's been a dream come true. Even just like to be able to, like, if I could tell my younger self like what I've accomplished, it's like, holy shit. Because there was a point where I wasn't even sure if I could do this, and a lot of it wasn't because I didn't think I wasn't talented. It was just the managing people part. It was the and I don't want to say like I'm difficult to work with. I'm pretty, but it's the interpersonal relationships.
Is it you that sometimes I wonder? Sometimes with myself, I find like there's sometimes a block with certain types of people. Like we said earlier about like the tribe of people that you find yourself amongst.
Yeah.
The being in school environment. Through school, I didn't talk to anyone. Like I had one friend, and that was it. I was alone apart from that.
Yeah.
But as soon as I found theatre and found my people, then I could communicate.
Right.
So is that a similar struggle?
Similar, yeah. And then sometimes it was a lot of like following social hierarchies that didn't quite make sense to me, or like, the classic like, oh, the drama teacher has their favorites, and you're like, oh, like you're good at like doing what I want, but I'm never actually going to give you the reward, but I'm going to use your loyalty, and it's that very specific dynamic that every theater kid has gone through, I'm sure. And I've always clashed with people that want control or things a certain way, and unfortunately I'm not that kind of, I like to do things my way, unfortunately.
I think that's a creative thing.
Yeah.
I think that when we're creative, I completely empathise with that. That if someone says to me, I can't do something the way that I want to do it, and particularly when it's about the thing that I love and I'm creating, I don't deal with that well at all. I'm like, nope, I'm doing this, and that's it. And I keep moving forward. And if I do, and I have allowed it in the past, I've allowed ex-partners to say to me, no, you're not doing that thing. It's been a problem for me, and it's caused me pain.
Yeah, no, and that's very true too, because I realize, like, especially in the show, like how much that I would swallow just to keep peace, and I'm still, because I know there's like people pleasing tendencies, especially neurodivergent people develop as a means to, and then just trying to, like, now I'm at a point where I'm like, I know what I need and what I want, and I'm really not asking for a lot. Like, as newsflash, I just want to be treated like a decent human being, and that's where the whole inspirational porn thing, that was one of my big epiphanies actually.
Okay.
Was that, because something like my mom and my sister have said where, like, I'm trauma dumb, but I told like the guy that I was talking to at the time, like, this very personal traumatic thing that happened to me, and he said like, oh, don't worry, you're not a bother, and I thought that was such a, oh my God, like that means so much, like he said this thing in this moment, and they were like, Gabby, you have the lowest standards for men. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, who else would do that for me? And it's like, oh, wait, that's the exhibit. Like, it keeps going back into that awful cycle of, like, feeling like, oh, people even just taking the time from me is so out there. And, like, and that's even the saddest part is, like, and just imagine people that have higher support needs than me, that don't have said pretty privilege, and I'm not even saying that to be like, oh, but that is another aspect of the mask that I've dealt with even since like my teen years, even younger than that. Hence the whole child star archetype too. Like, and so there's a lot of like feminist intersectionality. That's a whole. There's levels to it. There's levels to it. And just realizing like, I just like, even though there's this label, it doesn't really. With the right person, it's not that big of a deal. Like, actually, a guy I'm talking to now, very sweet. What did he say? He said something like, it's like, oh, well, doing this doesn't feel like work for me. Or, he's like, being with you feels like breathing, which is like, I mean, I feel the same way about him too, so that works out.
That's good.
But you know, like when you're with the right person, then all of those things, like they just end up not mattering, and it's very, and I wish that for everyone.
So do you know how, with everything that you've gone through and everything you've learned at the Fringe, do you know how you're going to look after yourself moving forward?
You know, it's funny, I've been joking like with my team, Mitch and I'm like, I don't know how I can handle anything ever again. And not in the sense of like, oh, any resilience I developed is going to be gone. I just feel like, you know, what they say about like, you know, New York City, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. It's like that. And then anyone that ever tells me anything again, I will be like, can you shut them? It's like, you don't even know. You don't know the things I've seen. Like, or, you know, it's just, and especially like, yeah, I just feel like I have a completely, like, I definitely knew I was going to change, but this has been a whole level of insanity and growth in such a short amount of time. And I'm just very grateful for it. And the things that I'm experiencing or I'm learning, I wouldn't have known had I not gone through it. Like even just going around, like seeing the streets, I'm like, oh, that's what a banner ad is. That's why that costs money. Okay, maybe, all right. It's like, oh, that's what people mean when they, oh, okay.
Well, we're learning for next time, aren't we?
For sure.
We're discovering for, you know, when we do these creative things like we do this here, this isn't the end.
So even my butterfly's ready to fly off. They're like, yeah. It's like we're ready to go off to the next thing.
Well, at this point, this has been a wonderful conversation. I really do appreciate you sharing this journey. One last question for you, though. So, if there was someone else out there that's listened into this and been like, I understand that journey. I feel similar. I've had these struggles with a label, like autism. What advice would you give to them if they want to do something creative like you're doing, like they want to be at the Edinburgh Fringe? How do they move forward?
Honestly, it really just takes one step at a time. And even with the label, I'd say, well, the best advice I've been saying, especially for people that want to be creative, is to not wait on gatekeepers. Like we have so much access to the internet and like you can literally do anything and post it and show your stuff. It's letting go of what people are thinking, because it really isn't about like how people perceive you. And I've even gotten to this point where I'm like, people are gonna judge me anyway. I might as well. Like the joke I've even like said about this show, I'm like, literally no one's asked for this. Like nobody has asked me to go up on lingerie and tell them their life story. No one has asked for this at all. Like there's no, I mean, is it needed? Maybe, but no one's asked for it. And so you just kind of do it, and it's terrifying, and it's a lot of money, and it's a lot of investment. But if it's, if you need to invest in yourself, because unfortunately you're all you have, and life's too short. And I do acknowledge that there's privilege to what I'm even experiencing and saying, but even just doing little things here and there, and just taking the chance.
But it doesn't come without the work, and it doesn't come without the
No, of course
forward.
not. And I mean, this has been at least it took me like 6 years to write the show, but then like probably another like 15 to even get over myself, like to do it, and a lot of therapy. So yeah, just don't wait on it's like if you're an actor, don't worry about trying to get an agent. Just pick up a camera and find friends and do stupid things. Networking is especially important, like just finding the right people, investing in the right people, really just watering your own garden. But yeah, don't wait on gatekeepers. Don't worry. I mean, I need to listen to myself. Like, don't worry about the big things. Like, that'll come. And that's something I have to be mindful of myself, where it's like I see these bigger acts and I'm like, okay, like that'll be me. But I think what's really, really something I realize about myself, and I'm proud of myself for, is I don't have like the imposter syndrome I would have imagined having.
Okay, that's good.
Because it's like, yeah, I see people a bit farther along their journey, like, they've done much more touring than I have, and they have much more experience, but I don't feel like I don't belong in that group. Like, I've seen so many great shows where I'm like, oh, she's just like me, or oh, we have very similar themes, and like my show is not out of pocket to be here.
I think this environment here is humbling. for all of us. I think, yes, whilst there's some acts that have more money to put into advertising than others, we are on the same playing field. We are in the same arena.
Right.
Like I say, there's some money thrown about in different directions, but apart from that, our talent, our skills, it all has equal opportunity here.
For sure. And like, I know for me, like, word is spreading. Like, once people, you just got to put yourself out there and people will be interested. And yeah, it's humbling is the right word. For sure.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Well, thank you for having me.
Where do we find you? Where's the show on?
Yes, so we have 2 different Instagram accounts. There's my own personal, which is Gabby, Gabby CAB 13 at Instagram. That's been my most favorite app of all. And then we also have my and Mitch production company, Feeling Inspired. So that Instagram is Feeling Inspired Prod, like PROD. So that's the more professional business side of it. And then we're also on TikTok as well. We're trying to boost that up.
Wonderful. Well, I'll be sure to add links in the comments below. And if anyone has been watching or listening, we appreciate you for joining us for this conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And thanks again, Gabrielle.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.